Hey, this is Rhonda. First of all, this may be long and lengthy, but I hope you'll listen to it. There's a lot of videos actually in Module 7. If you don't listen to them, this is really going to be so confusing to you. And I know that sometimes people have skipped over to the end to do their work, and maybe that wouldn't be the best idea with this, unless you're really comfortable with doing APA 7th edition references and in-text citations and also the narrative version of said citation. Now, if you're comfortable with it, you probably can skip those videos. I would suggest you not do so. In fact, I would love to encourage you to meet me in the Zoom room the next few Mondays, because you may not get this right the first time, and I want you to get it right so that you're perfect on the final project. But I'll be glad to go over it with you. Next, make sure, remember back at the introduction part, go back to the introduction and look at the final project. When I showed you the final project, I did a video. It may be at that time this video meant nothing to you. It may mean something to you now. I need you to look at the example. I'd prefer you to look at the PDF, but if you can't do that, look at this. The things may be wrong and the spacing may be kind of awkward. So I'd prefer you to look at the PDF if so. Look at this. It may not have made any sense to you long time ago, back when we first met, but I'm hoping now you're like, oh, these are the things I've been looking for, because your final project needs keywords. It's going to talk about Boolean logic examples. You're going to show me phrase searching, truncation. Do you see these now? You're going to give me some keywords as many as you care to do so. At least want 15. You're going to have 2 scholarly articles. You're going to do annotations and a reference for each. You're going to make sure you give me the word count so that we all know we're on the same page, and I don't have to do that part. You have to have an article. Remember when I made you look at opposing viewpoints? Right there. Also, a government document. Remember when I made you find a .gov? It should go here. Remember when we were looking at newspaper and I was all crazy and like, you must use the news bank, which, by the way, it is one of our best databases. And wherever you go, it will also be there, because I know that you're going to enjoy doing research far away from us as well. So, newspaper, that's where this goes. Remember when I was trying to make sure you got a .org or .edu? One of those, whichever you want, bring one of those into here. You may have decided to replace it or something. If you want to run it by me, I would be glad to do so. Remember when we were doing multimedia, video, podcast, or whatever? Yes, you all practically got that one totally right. Bring that baby in here and give it the final project treatment. Oh, and last module, we did social media. It's going to go right here. And these references, some of you may be like me or refer to other pieces inside of your annotations, but if you do not, you will not need these, because the annotated bibliography has this here. If you do quote something in quotes, I would like to see an in-text reference, and I'll show that to you if you show me your work. So anyway, go over this piece, the introduction to the final project, at the very top of the modules, one more time. Now, I absolutely positively want to tell you it is extremely important that you actually look at these videos. I cannot tell you what these videos say as well, as succinctly, and in this short amount of time. You might have noticed sometimes I may go off on a tangent, and I want to deliver you straight from that into clarity and awesomeness. And I actually went through to make sure that these things match all that. So when I say go through this, please do go through this. The next page is going to be about Turnitin. These are very short pieces, but these are really, really important. Some of you may even be going through this in some other classes right now. For others of you, it will be a refresher. Please take the time to review these. This is very important, and it also will show up in the quality of your annotations. So then I want you to review this video. This video is 13 minutes long. I want you to sit down, grab yourself a soda, whatever, kick back, and prepare to just scribble things even if they mean nothing to you. I've never seen anyone pack this much information into 13 minutes about APA 7th edition in my life. I am giving you this as a gift. This is a beautiful gift, and you may have to look at it twice. In fact, you might want to look at it, do the homework, and then relook at it. But I'm telling you, this is a really, really good piece. And I've done presentations and all that on these before, and I have to say, it may be a little dry, and sometimes mine can be slightly more amusing, but they're also 4 times as long. Okay? So I respect your time, your responsibility. That 13 minutes will not be regretted. Meantime, our Writing Center actually has a 7th edition APA piece. Just hit this and you'll be able to go out. If you need us to print it, go to the library and use that green bar to order a copy, or print it yourself, or use it as you need to do so. Just download it on your computer and use it for this project, because a lot of the pieces will help you on the project. Now, I want you to read these pieces on bias-free language. APA 7th edition is not just a documentation and citation style. It's also about writing itself. And these rules are different. They even have rules. I don't have them all here. But like if you're writing something and use the word ten, do you use T-E-N or do you spell it out? If something has a hash mark, do you let it go to the next page or do you not? Like all these little pieces that you would not suspect are actually part of a style are. And for here, I believe these are some of the ones that will be important for your work in this class when you're doing your annotations. And respect and writing well in your other classes, and treating people and ideas warmly, respectfully, and appropriately within our professions. Now, that'll have a little quiz, so you'll take that. I'm also going to have a quiz on fonts and margins, because guess what? It also tells you what fonts and margins you can use. So make sure you look at those. And just as an overview, 1 inch on every side is true for this. And it's going to be, I believe, 12 point. It used to be Times New Roman, but 7th edition lets you use other fonts. That's right. No fancy fonts. They have to be respectable and easy to read and as asked for. So make sure you use those for the final project and finish the quiz. Now I'm going to go through these. The Big Bend Community College Writing Center. If you click through here, you can go, these hours, there's actually going to be human beings, and you can click to enter the Writing Center, and you will be able to show them your well, not your annotations, you can do that as well, but on this particular run, you're just doing your references, and if you need help with them, and maybe you have a great relationship with someone there, why don't you have them help you work with it? You can use them. This is a great support. You as a student should reach out and grab all the support you need. Also, again, I mentioned it up before. Here's the APA handout. You can print it out and use it for this project because they put it together and it is excellent, and it really focuses on the main things you need to do. Now, the Whimsy Bonati Library, of course, is where I work. You can get to me on Mondays, but also on this side right here where it says Ask a Librarian, you can come there to ask someone to help you with your APA 7th edition citations. If you would like to do so, say, hey, is Rhonda there? And if I am there, and I am so much there, they will transfer you to me. And that's another way to get to me besides email, setting up appointment, or other ways. Now, the next thing you have in your package. And the reason I'm going through this is because everywhere you go, you're going to have these supports. And just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean that you should suffer or feel sad or get depressed or scared or full of anxiety or eat far too many cakes. It's my birthday this week, so I'm thinking a lot about cake. Far too many cakes. But there's all these other things to help you. You may have already used the Purdue Online Writing Lab. Let me show this monstrous loveliness to you. It has everything. It talks about the basics of in-text citations. It shows you reference lists, authors, what to do if you have more than one author, what to do if you don't have a like an author for something. Do you use the title? How do you use different things? This is really important because guess what? You're not going to memorize this. The best I can do in this course is help you experience it, see how you may order your information to keep it together, and how to look for others things to help you out. Though frankly, at some point you are going to get really familiar with some of these, but probably not here at Big Bend Community College, but it will come. Also, guess what? And you may know this as well. There's several types of citation generators out there. If you just go put in a URL or a title, it will help you build a citation. And you're saying, Rhonda, if this was out here, why have you been torturing us? Because this is a very important thing to realize about these pieces. Do you know what? They're awesome. You know what? I use them sometimes. But if you don't put the information in the right way, if you don't capitalize things the correct way, if you don't italicize something correctly, if you don't know that you need the beginning and ending page numbers, if you don't know you use a digital object identifier over a URL, this is not going to fix it for you. It's magic only up to a point. Much like something you find in a database, you need to copy and correct it. But meantime, if it works for you, by all means, please use this because it is awesome. So you have all this information here that you can come to. You have a citation generator. You have something that talks about the fonts and the margins, even though I've already done so. It's an awesome backup. So this goes over everything yet again, but it's a static place you can bookmark and come back to get help. Now, the next thing is, and this is actually the thing I rely on, is the APA style blog. Now, when you come up here, you can actually do a search. And suppose the thing that you're suffering with is a scholarly article, and you want a scholarly article example. It's going to take you to a page, and it's going to have things that not always fit what you're asking, but it should have some samples of references or guidelines or something like that. In this case, I see that it did not know what I wanted, so I will go to references, because that's what you call these in APA 7th edition, references. And I'm going to put in references journal, except I'm going to spell it correctly. Now, this is really a great resource because you can't ask them questions. It's just going to sometimes take 2 weeks for them to answer. And sometimes they get snippy if it's something you should have been able to find. Oh, look, journal article references. And it takes you to the page, and it's going to show you the different ones. A retraction, an abstract, which I told you never to use, but sometimes you can use it if you're just using the abstract. Anyway, in general, it should be this. And it will give you a beautiful example. Let's talk about this example. We have multiple authors, their last name, first and middle initial. See the comma, period, period, comma. Now we see it goes all the way down here, and they do not use A and D, they use an ampersand. You see how I've been bothering you these past weeks? That's why. 2019, the publication date is going to be in parentheses. If it has a month, it would be 2019, comma, December, spelled all the way out. Now there's a number of the 9th, in parentheses, period. For the title, absolutely nothing is capitalized except for the first letter, a letter after a colon, or a proper noun or noun phrase, like United States. Now, the journal name is the actual opposite. You're going to capitalize the most important things and not a preposition, a conjunction, or an article. I think I have them all covered. So it would look like this. In Google terms, you capitalize the most important words. I like how they say that. It's actually called title case. Anyway, so then you have a comma, and this is the most insidious thing in all of APA, is that the volume number is also italicized, just like the journal name. And then the issue number, remember how I've been bothering about issue numbers, you put them in these little parentheses, comma, and then beginning and ending page number. If that is missing, it is not included. It didn't have an issue number, it's not included. It didn't have a volume number, it ends right here. And then you put the digital object identifier, and I would like you to reproduce these pieces as I've shown you in the example. I would like you to know that these references go to the in-text portion where you're attributing the work. So I want to know that you know how to build those beautifully. And those are somewhat easy once you kind of get the idea that they connect the reader to your references so that they know where this material came from. So I just went to 15 minutes there, but now it's just on one thing. That's how good the video is that I gave you. So let me take you back here. So that's the APA style blog. You can find out how to cite many things, including Facebook and social media. That is where I go every single time. I cannot remember it. I go here and I put social media in the APA style blog and find that reference. Now, there's some other ways, if it's a scholarly article, that you could find the citation. Let's go to Google Scholar. And this is not the one the library uses. I'm just coming here to show you this piece. If it's a scholarly article and you're working with a journal and there's something about it that's not working for you, you can come here to the quotation marks. Now you can copy this, but you're going to have to correct it. In this case, this is a book and we're not using books in this particular thing. Let's go here, book, sorry. I may have to go to another thing here. I'm just taking you for a long ride. And it may take a little while to find the articles. All right, here, APA, you have to make sure it's 7th edition. You look at the authors to make sure it's in the correct order. You make sure the publication piece is correct. And you look at the title. Nothing should be capitalized except for the first word, a proper noun or noun phrase, or a word following a colon. So here the T into word would be capitalized. Livestock production science is in title case, so that's wrong. Yes, it's italicized, but production and science should be capitalized. The 72 is also italicized. It follows a little comma. It's issues 1 or 2. Those are in parentheses, comma, beginning and ending page number. And a digital object identifier is not offered here. So you would have to add it. So it's still an issue of copying. So let's look at Crossref. Crossref at least reliably has a digital object identifier. And one day, perhaps not in this year or the next, you'll remember this and find this to be one of the most awesome things I ever demonstrated to you. I'm just going to put in some word to get to something. And I have to actually spell it. And I'm searching metadata. You saw in ignored, we have nothing. I know it has something. So when you get here, usually what you do is look for the full title to find information. It's going to almost always give you the digital object identifier. And you're going to want to use this over the URL. And if you don't understand how to express it, at least you can come here and copy and correct it at the end of your reference. Additionally, it has something that says cite. Has things, it has APA. You can see it's very computer generated, and you're going to have to copy and correct it. In this case, we see is absolutely no italics, so we know vaccine is the name of the journal, and the 7 will be italicized. They've had to use the title instead of the author because there was no author, and that's going to be correct. And ends with a digital object identifier. It only has one page, which could be correct. It may be just a little blurb, and there you go. That would be awesome. And you have copied and corrected. The next I give you is Scribbler. You may have some other ones that are also useful. Sometimes, amusingly, the APA is not free. And remember, you're doing APA 7th edition. And there are some differences. So here, Scribbler, that's the same girl that was doing the plagiarism things. They really want you to do well. If you have a website and a government document or a .org is, you come in here and fill out the citation information. You know how I was kind of annoying about all those pieces I wanted you to collect? You put them in here. And if you use the rules, last name, first and middle initials, you spell out the publication month completely, you do not italicize it, and you put in the URL that you found it, this should be a fairly good citation that it gives you. Just remember to double check against the thing that tells you how they should look. And I've given you the 7th edition of APA that's created by the Writing Center to check your work. I've also given you APA style blog where you can check your work, and I'm going to show you a linked page I have for you that should also help you check your work. Now here, I'm not going to go into this a lot. We really ran out of time. I could teach this for quarter after quarter and keep adding on. In the future, I would really like you to look at Mendeley and Zotero as you go into your other places. You may have Endnotes. Some of your professors may have a preference of one over the other. I know sometimes in the sciences, they love this one, and sometimes in the social sciences and psychology, they love this one, but they do have free versions. They have so many videos, and what they do, as you know, when we're building our process, our annotation process, you could have been putting that information in something like this that would then generate you a reference and give you an idea about the matching in-text citations and keep your notes about what you're going to use from the article. So these are really, really great. You can get away using Word and Google Drive doing your references, but once you go past 30, it's really going to fall apart on you. So I hope in the future you will look at these. And I just want you to kind of know they're there, and I think they're awesome, and you should look at them, but you're probably not going to do that now. I want you to look at this. So when you look at my assignment, you'll see I have everything outlined. So I'm going to have many examples of APA. I have a journal article, your magazine article. That's the thing you found in Opposing Viewpoints. Government report. That's probably a .gov, and it's probably from the CDC. Newspaper. I hope it's from Newsbank, but here it is. Oh, and web or website references, just in case it's sort of offbeat. I have some audio, visual, online, social media. I don't know if I've missed anything, but if I do, I will add it in here and make sure you have access to it. So everything that you have in your sources should be on this list. I also have you that page of help. So you have things to help you out. And I've put them in this way because these are always the things that you'll have to help you out. They're going to be models of what it should look like. Now, how you translate that may not be beautiful. Some of you are going to struggle, and that's okay. That's appropriate. And I want those of you that struggle to work with me. I don't want you to go it alone. I want you to go to the Writing Center if you'd like to do that, or come to me, because this is how you will get through this process. You could look at the final project I did for all the examples, but for this, I just did the scholarly articles, but you need to do all of them. And what's going to be different than the final presentation, final project, I want you to do the parenthetical citations. And if you reviewed the videos I gave you, that should make total, absolute sense. And if you want to just use a bland statement so you can show the narrative citation, that is fine. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your piece. I just want you to have the experience of putting them out there. So you're going to collect your 8 sources that you have put together. If you're missing something, this is a good time to add it. You're going to change those elements you've been collecting, the authors, the titles, the URLs, the digital object identifiers, and all that stuff that seem to give you some struggle with at different places. You're going to collect those and you're going to put them into AP style order so that your reference will look like this. Author, last name, first initial, publication date, title. Nothing is capitalized except for the first word, the word following a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. The name of the journal is in title case, is also italicized. All the important words, to use Google Speak, should be capitalized, but that means no prepositional phrase, articles, or conjunctions will be capitalized. The other strange thing that will drive you crazy for all your APA days is the volume number is also italicized. You can hardly tell. But if someone's grading your paper, they probably can tell, so make sure you do it right. This is the issue number. It is parentheses followed by a comma. You have beginning and ending page numbers. The preference is to have a digital object identifier. If not that, use the URL and do not put a period behind it. You should be able to copy and paste this without a period or anything messing up your search. That's the reason for that particular rule. And you're going to do all 8. And I've given you a form if you would like to use it to make sure that you get all of them. If you're finding you're missing a source and you hit some struggles, I'd absolutely appreciate it if you'd reach out to me, because this is kind of a monster task. To some degree, you already have all the work done, but once you hit this point, you're not going to feel like you did. So ask for help. Part of your academic research experience is when you hit a brick wall, when something seems overwhelming, try to find the people that can help you out with that problem. In this case, it's the Writing Center and also myself and some of my librarian colleagues. So make sure you do that. This is going to be like, once you get this done, you're going to learn so much and be able to take this forward. And it's going to give your work a look of excellence, competence, and knowledge. And it's going to be beautiful after the ugly part. So reach out to me when you need to.